And it's time to talk Western Eyre Netball, and joining us, Rehanna Freeman. G'day, Rehanna. How you doing today? You're back.
I am back. Apologies for last week, but thanks for having me back on the show.
Well, someone told me it was the most informative segment it had been, and you weren't part of it, so I'm not really sure what to take of that.
Well, obviously you don't need me anymore.
Well, I think we do, but I think they might have been sort of being a bit sarcastic, and I didn't really sort of pick up on it, quite honestly. But
No, I'm sure you did a brilliant job. I do apologise for last week, but the whales up at Fowler's Bay were cooling.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm looking for the postcard then.
It's still coming.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right, now, before we get into what's been happening, now I understand SA Netball paid you a visit last week.
Yeah, they certainly did. They started off by doing, I think they had visits all over the EP,
Yep.
but for Western Eyre they had some skills clinics on the Friday in Ceduna, so they had 3 different age groups and had them for a couple of hours, and I know a few kids that did them and they thought they were absolutely outstanding, so just learnt a few different skills from different coaches and, had a great day. And then Netball SA sent over Ros Fraser, who's a bit of a gun in the Netball SA world. She's a brilliant netball mind. She did some coaching mentoring at Streaky Bay for the Streaky Blues games, and then stayed on the Sunday for a coach's workshop in Streaky. So for those that attended, I know they really enjoyed it. So I've been very guilty of having a whinge many a times about the lack of things we get from Netball SA, and I'm very happy to say that what they did provide was outstanding, and thanks to everyone that attended them.
Yeah, and they're not easy to organise as well. There's lots of moving parts that sort of have to come together to make these events happen, and you've got to get behind them. But they're so, you're just getting involved and having that outside sort of influence of coaching or just of skills or even with umpiring and that, and you can learn so much more just by having them around.
You really can. It sort of makes you think outside the box, and I know that I was one of the coaches that put my hand up to do the coaching mentoring. So, look, I was a little bit disappointed. I was hoping she'd sort of coach the team and I could learn from that. But she sort of gives you no tips on your team, but more so about what you see, how you coach it, and, you know, how you deliver it. So I most certainly learnt a lot myself. And, again, thanks very much to Ros and Netball SA for their effort to come all this way over and teach us a thing or two.
And I'm sure they did, and I'm sure everyone's going to be looking forward to that next time. And those that thought, maybe, next time they will be there, that's for certain. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, now last week it was round number 11, and we had 2 big games. And do I detect a bit of an upset in one of them?
You most certainly. Look, what are we, 3rd week on the job and you're already all over it?
Well, I was just going to say, looking back, this was... Do we put this down to the fact that maybe there were some players missing because of the holiday break, or it's because you've been very close to them and almost got them the previous 2 encounters?
Nobody was missing, so we're obviously talking about the Sevi, who are prior to this game were undefeated and top of the ladder, and they took on Wirrala, who are 3rd on the ladder. First few times they meet, they've been very close games. Sevi won by 2 and then 5, and then met last Saturday, and Wirrala came away with a 9-goal win. So you're on the money. It was a bit of an upset, but also... although Sevi have been playing some fantastic netball, I think we've discussed this year that Wirrala are always a quality side and know when to come good and when it counts, and that comes a lot from their experience. And I heard just their offensive end played an outstanding game. They shot really beautifully, and defensively, any mistakes that Sevi made, Wirrala's defence just jumped straight on it and didn't give them a second chance. So well done to Wirrala. That's quite the upset at this time of the season, but makes the rest of the season all that more exciting.
It certainly does, and it's probably good timing for them too with the run towards the finals. So this will be a good confidence boost as well.
Absolutely, and I think that Natasha Gill was best for Wirrala. She played in-wing attack, obviously a beautiful feeder, drives onto that ring really well, and when she's got Soph and Jazz in the ring to feed to, it's sort of a combination that you can't go wrong with. So well done to those girls. Bad luck to Sevi. I know that they'll regroup, learn from where they went wrong and come out even stronger.
Some might say it was the game they had to lose before they could go all the way to win. So
yeah, that's right.
You hear that a lot. I don't believe in it myself, but I hear it a lot. Okay. In the other game, no surprise there with West Coast Hawks defeating Ceduna Blues 45-34.
Yeah, look, if you want to talk margins from previous games, I don't think we can really count the first game because Blues had a lot of people out, but Hawks came away with a win for 37. The second time we met, we won by 15, and on last Saturday, we won by 11. So only 11 goals in it. Blues are most certainly closing that margin. I think in the last quarter, I think Blues scored 5 or 6 goals before Hawks even got one on the board. So Blues definitely came back really strong in that last half of the game. Hawks sort of had to pull themselves together. So Blues should be, although disappointed they didn't come away with the win, they'd be really happy, I think, with the game that they played. And they were still missing Georgia Lambeth. She was away for the week, and I think she's also away this week. So still one to come in. Hawks had Tegan Joyce and Chloe Evans play their first game back in quite a few weeks. I know Chloe hasn't played for 7 weeks due to injury, so it was good to see those girls back on the court. So Hawks happy with that 11-goal win, and it's most certainly shaping up to be a very exciting last few rounds before finals.
And it's very exciting because just when you just look at the ladder itself, even though you've got Thevy and West Coast Hawks at the top there, 15 and 14 respectively, Wirral and Ceduna Blues, they can still provide a little upset and make it very interesting.
Absolutely they can. So Wirral are sitting in third on 8. And just with a few games left, for them to get second, Hawks would pretty much have to lose every game and Wirral will win. But either way, I think the ladder's more or less set for finals, but I don't think we can really take too much attention to the ladder because that means nothing come finals time.
It's everyone starts 0-0, as they say, in the finals. Yeah, we start square one. All right, on to this week's round, and it's round number 12, and it is the run home. It's going to be very exciting, and I think there could be another upset or two in there in the mix over the next few weeks, but we'll concentrate on this weekend's games, and we've got Ceduna against Wirral.
That's right. So Ceduna Blues taking on Wirral. The first time they met, Wirral won by 5. The second time, Blues by 14. So they're 1-for-1 here. I do believe Emma Willis is going to make a comeback in A grade this week. So she's been out at the start of the year as she just had her third child, and I know she's been playing B grade. She hasn't yet stepped on in A grade, but I do believe this week will be the week. So I'm not really sure where that leaves their lineup, whether they put Emma and Soph in goals or Emma and Jazz Billing. Only time will tell, but I actually think there'll be some really good matchups. Again, Blues are without Georgia this week, so that's a huge out, but there'll actually be some really good matchups. Casey Grenfell's Blues goalkeeper, she's really tall and reads the ball really well. And if she was to come up against Emma Willis, I think that'd be a beautiful matchup. I think that after Wirral's win last week, they may go in favourites, but I think this will be an absolute cracking game, and I'm probably going to tip Wirral, but for a close margin.
I agree with you. I was leaning towards Wirral. I think they're high on confidence. And still not convinced with Ceduna Blues, but I think they'll ride that confidence, and they know the finals are coming. So I think we'll see. I think they will do well. I think they'll come out the victors.
I think either way, it'll be a beautiful game.
The other game is Thevenard taking on Western United Tigers. It should be an easy game for Thevy.
You would think so. Westies have now had 3 games off in a row, so we had that 2-week break, and then last week they played Kinniburgh, which meant they didn't get a game. So they'll be well rested, but also I imagine they'll be well drilled by Bronnie Workman. She's their coach, so I think they'll be coming out firing and ready to go. Thevy would be disappointed after their loss last week, but as you said, it may have been the loss they needed to regroup and come back together. I do believe that Westies have been playing around with a few different position changes because at this point they've got nothing to lose. They unfortunately can't make the 4 for finals. So, as I said, they've got nothing to lose, so they can sort of go with whatever combinations they like. But I do believe Durrani Hoffrichter will start in goals, and she'll come up against defence from Thevy with Nikki Sleep and Corinne Cummings. So Thevy won 22 and 32 the last 2 times they met. But, it'd be interesting to see what the margin is in this one.
Even if they narrow the gap to, just single digit, that'll be a win for them. They'll see that as a win. And there's still a chance for them just to get one victory before the end of the season anyway. I think that if they can get that, they'll feel like they've had a successful year.
Absolutely, and look, I wouldn't underestimate these Westies girls. They have got some beautiful players in their team. Danielle Warmington, she's an experienced mid-quarter. She feeds the ball really well. If she has a good game and sort of sets the tone for the rest of the team, that can absolutely help them. Rhea Sleep's also been playing some beautiful defence, so I most definitely would not write them off. But Sevi, being top and only with the one loss, would have to be favourites.
Yeah, they'll want to rebound from last week's loss. But Western United, when you haven't won and you've got nothing to lose, it's amazing how dangerous you can be, and you can get into the mind of that team that's just coming off a loss that shouldn't have lost. So I think this would actually be a very close game. I really do.
Yeah, you're on the money there when you've got nothing to lose. You sort of anything's possible. And I do just want to quickly mention that Blues have let me know they are having a bit of an R&B themed night at the club Saturday night. And speaking from experience, I've been there when they've had a Mexican night. They sure do know how to put on a good show. So anyone that's around, you want to pop into the club, pop down to the Blues club rooms and get your groove onto a bit of R&B music.
Oh, R&B, that sounds good to me. Rhythm and blues, it does feel good, doesn't it?
It does. I've got no rhythm whatsoever, but that in itself would be entertainment.
Exactly, it will. All right, it's going to be a great weekend of netball action right across. So I am sure we're going to have fun talking about the results next week. It'll be a good weekend. You enjoy yourself, Rehanna, and whatever happens, hopefully our tips will come through.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, and I'll speak to you next week.